Hey everybody, Joel here from 7C Music in St. Petersburg, Florida. Today I'm going to be doing a restring on this 1984 Martin D45. We just did a neck reset on this guitar, and we also fixed some binding issues with this. But now it's all ready, it's set up, it just needs to be restrung. So I'm going to kind of walk you guys through just how we do it here and give you a couple little tips and tricks that you can do at home in order to do a better restring. I'm doing this scenario kind of like you would be sitting on your dining room table. This is just the guitar sitting flat. I've got a little neck rest. You can get neck rests online, many different places, but my tools here today literally are just some string cutters, a string winder, and what you guys would probably be using at home is the Diodario, something like this, peg winder. It's got a bridge pin puller and it can kind of fit bass, guitar, banjo, mandolin, ukulele, tuning machines. So we do sell these here, but today I'm going to be using my faster bridge, and we do sell these as well, these peg winders. So with that, first off, I'm going to be loosening the strings that are currently on here. So with that, I'm going to go in and just pull the bridge pins very carefully. What I like to do here in the shop, if you're ever in here watching us work on stuff, is I try not to pick tools up and carry them over top of the guitar. I try to pick them up, and if I'm going, I want to stay out from over top of the guitar. So if you're ever using any cutters or anything like that at home, you want to be real careful, because if you don't have a good grip on that and you drop it, you got a big ding in your guitar, and then you're coming to me to fix that. So a lot of people like to tie their strings on. We don't tie our strings on. We don't believe in that. These are wrapped on the treble side, it looks like, just a little bit. You really just need to get at least 3 winds around in your tuning pegs as you're stringing it up. So I'm going to just throw away those. We are going to be putting on Elixir light gauge 80-20 bronze strings. What I like to do when I'm stringing up the guitar, you want to take the ball end and you just want to set it right inside the hole, and you'll line that slot in the bridge pin, or even if you have unslotted bridge pins, it's okay. But I like to put the ball end right there, and I want to push that ball end down with the bridge pin. And then I'm going to hold it and kind of tug up a little bit on it. And I want to make sure that ball end is locked in. So I'm going to do that with all of these. You'll see me pretty quickly, but I put that ball end in there, line up the slot, push it down, and kind of tug up on it. Alright, so I've got my bridge pins in. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull my strings up over the treble side, and I'm going to take them one by one. So what we like to do here, this is a training we did, and I used to train at Taylor, and this was how we trained people to restring guitars. When I'm going to restring it, I want to take each string basically and cut it about a string post in front of it. So my low E, I would be cutting at the A string peg. My D string I'd be doing to the, my A string I'd be doing to the D string. My D and G I cut off right past the headstock. And then my E and B I like to cut 1.5, so it gives me a little bit extra wind on there. So maybe like 3 to 4 winds on there. So I would be taking my treble strings, if this was the high E, I'd be cutting it about 1.5 times the post. So you'll see me cutting these here, going 1 post up, that's my low E. My A string, I'm going to be cutting off right at the D string post. My D and my G string, I'm going to cut right past the headstock. My E and my B, my B I'm going to cut 1.5, so basically at the end of the headstock again. And my high E, I'm going to be cutting right in the middle there. Because those strings are unwound, they tend to slip a little bit more. A lot of people think you have to have 50 winds around the post, or you have to tie them off. I've been doing it this way for over 20 years. Taylor's been doing it this way for over 40 years, and strings don't slip if you do it correctly. So now as I'm stringing up the guitar, what I like to do is I like to get the string hole sideways. I put the string through, I put a little bend in it, and I'm going to start winding. And as you wind, you're going to wind down the post underneath the string. And as I get it tightened up enough to hold in place, I leave it there. Same thing with the next one. going down the post. When you're doing this also, sometimes you want to watch down on your guitar to make sure your bridge pin does not pop out. If you're doing it by hand with just a hand peg winder, you shouldn't have too much of a problem. With this faster winder, it's a little easier for that to happen. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically stretch each string just a little bit. We do a push-pull method where I pull on the string with my four fingers and I push on it with my thumb just a little bit. And I do this up and down each string. Then I kind of give each string just a little tug up, make sure that they're set, make sure all my bridge pins are pushed down. Now we've got a restrung 1984 Martin D45.